in 5.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.
Good day. This is World News in 5 here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. United States President Joe Biden spoke out against retaliatory attacks by Israeli settlers against Palestinians in the West Bank in the aftermath of the October 7 Hamas attacks on Israel. He also said he was redoubling his commitment to working on a two-state solution to end the decades-long Israel-Palestinian conflict. Biden said attacks by extremist settlers amounted to pouring gasoline on the burning fires in the Middle East since the Hamas attack. Settler violence against Palestinians has intensified since the Hamas attack, and some attacks have been fatal, according to Palestinian authorities. Rights groups say settlers have torched cars and attacked several small Bedouin communities, forcing them to evacuate to other areas. The West Bank Protection Consortium, a coalition of non-governmental organizations and donor countries, including the European Union, said settler violence in the West Bank had forcibly displaced hundreds of Palestinians since October 7. That's in addition to over 1,100 displaced since 2022. Deadly violence has been surging in the West Bank as the Israeli military pursues Palestinian militants in the aftermath of the Hamas attack from Gaza.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.
In other news overseas, the Taliban are pushing back against persistent global criticism of their Islamic governance in Afghanistan, claiming their supreme leader's decrees, including a general amnesty, have promoted national reconciliation and put the war-torn country on the path to stability. Zabihullah Mujahid, the chief Taliban spokesperson, posted a 40-minute promotional video documentary on social media showcasing some of the decrees and touting their good outcomes more than 2 years into their male-only government known as the Islamic Emirate. However, the video did not discuss several other decrees issued by the reclusive Taliban supreme leader, Hibatullah Akhundzada, that placed an indefinite ban on Afghan girls' education beyond the 6th grade and barred most women from workplaces, including the United Nations and other aid groups. The amnesty covered all members and politicians associated with the ousted Afghan government and individuals who worked for the United States-led Western troops during their presence in Afghanistan for almost 2 decades. Mujahid's social media post came a day after a senior UN diplomat renewed allegations that Taliban's repressive policies and practices were responsible for a deteriorating human rights situation in Afghanistan.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.
And for our Philippine Foreign Service post, Philippine Ambassador Raul S. Hernandez presented his letter of credence as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of the Philippines to the Sultanate of Oman to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq on October 18, 2023 at ceremonies held in Al-Baraka Palace in Muscat. Ambassador Hernandez was accompanied by his spouse, Madam Maria Ana A. Hernandez, Second Secretary and Consul Jacqueline Joan S. Arquiza, and Third Secretary and Vice Consul Joanna V. D. Arbado. During the brief meeting with Sultan Haitham that followed the presentation of credentials, Ambassador Hernandez highlighted the post's position or the Post mission to enhance the bilateral relations and intensify cooperative efforts in various fields between the Philippines and the Sultanate of Oman. He expressed gratitude for the Sultanate's continued hospitality and recognition accorded to over 50,000 Filipinos living and working in Oman for their contribution to the economic development of the Sultanate and the continued support and protection for their welfare and well-being. It was also emphasized by Ambassador Hernandez that there is a need to strengthen the economic relations of the two countries by looking into opportunities for increased trade and investment and involving the private sector. Business-to-business relations, new partnerships with public and business sectors for joint ventures and investments to further develop and sustain economic prosperity should be promoted.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.
And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5 for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
World News in 5.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.